So if you've seen one of the last few videos, you know that my 2022 BMW G80 M3 got in a little car accident. Now, at the time, I was pretty upset. I didn't know the extent of the damage. We had rear quarter damage, we had door damage. It even went up into the trunk as well as the rear bumper. And we didn't really know how the damage was looking underneath the car. Obviously, I was very upset about my wheels. They were pretty much brand new. I put them on not too long ago. All of that combined, it really ruined my day. And it's been about 2 months. Yeah, so I think it was July 19th. It is currently September 23rd. So a little bit over 2 months, and we're finally getting the car back today. Now, this is what I've been driving for the last 2 months. A pretty new Jetta, nothing special, but it also got the job done. Now, this car was far better than the Sentra that I had right before this, and it was a lot nicer than not having a car at all. So this car was great on mileage. It was my first time sitting in a car or driving a car that did like 40, 45 miles to the gallon. So that was really nice. I only filled it up twice since I've had the car, which is crazy. I could honestly get used to it. So just pulled up here to Criswell Collision Center. And at first glance, the car is looking really nice. Now I'm gonna go have a detailed inspection of it, just to make sure that nothing's wrong before we actually leave the lot. Luckily enough, they're pretty nice guys, so even if I do notice something when I get home, they'll happily correct it and fix it. So let's go ahead and get our car back. So as you can see, we're back in the car. It feels good to be driving my car again. It also feels nicer not to be driving like an NPC car. Nothing wrong with that. I think I'll take my M3 over the Jetta any day. More than anything, I want to get on the car. I can't really do that too hard because the alignment and the suspension still needs to be dialed in a little bit. Obviously, they're not an aftermarket shop. They don't deal with a lot of aftermarket parts, so they did their best to get the rear coilover installed again. And unfortunately, they made it a little bit too low. I think they just slammed it all the way to the ground. I am rubbing a little bit, so just be cautious. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it slow, get it home, and then we'll dial that in over the weekend. My steering wheel is way off. It is clocked to the right about like 20 degrees, something like that. So that's kind of throwing me off. But overall, ooh, you can hear that. So as you can see, we got our car back. It's nice to see it parked on the driveway finally again. And honestly, it looks better than I remember it looking. I don't know if it's just me missing it, but it looked great. And you can see that we have a new wheel on the back. Luckily for us, the insurance did pay for another wheel. They replaced our tires, which were brand new. They were Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. They replaced that as well as a new wheel. Got it in the exact same spec that we originally bought them in. So that was great. And I think we might have the old wheel in the trunk. Let me check. Yep. We have the old wheel sitting right here. Now we have a little plan for this. Let's see if we can actually make that come to fruition. But yeah, I'm excited to see what I'm able to do with this. Now looking at the car, the first thing I wanted to touch base on was the actual paint. Now from every angle that I can see the car in, the paint does look like it matches up perfectly. So nothing looks too off. That was one of my biggest concerns with the repair happening. And then obviously we are gonna have some body panel gapping. There's always a big issue when you're doing work like this. For example, this body gap on this side for the door is gonna be slightly bigger than the one on this side. Our trunk line is off, so the entire trunk looks like it's shifted that way a little bit. The line is thicker here, the gapping is bigger here than it is right here. So that is a bit of a concern. Now, one thing I did do was grab the entire bill so that you guys could see what the entire repair cost was. I said it was gonna be around 30,000. I think I mentioned that on the last video, or one of the last few videos. It sucks to say, but that estimate was actually pretty accurate. So just taking a look at some of the major items that they replaced. Obviously, I mentioned that they replaced the tires, but according to this, they actually replaced both the passenger and the driver's side tire with the new Pilot Sport 4S's that we originally had, and they were pretty brand new. So, and then one of the other major things that they replaced, even though they didn't have to, was our exhaust. That thing dragged across the asphalt when it was getting on the tow truck. And they spent $2,700 on the rear muffler piece. So it wasn't the full exhaust, just the rear muffler piece. And then obviously the major portion of the bill, it comes to bodywork and paint. I think the parts totaled out to $11,000. Labor and body was for $4,000. No, actually like $5,000. Material and paint was around $500, and then miscellaneous items were around $700, totaling up to $19,000. Now, that's nowhere near the $30,000 estimate, and that's because we still haven't done the PPF repair. So a lot of the car is gonna have to get re-PPF'd and re-ceramic. So that is gonna add up, and they gave a good amount of money to cover that repair, and that's gonna be done through Iconic. But as you can see, we're pretty close to that $30,000 mark. And once I send this car back to Criswell Collision, it might even reach that $3,000, because they're gonna have to take a few body parts off to make sure that everything is adjusted properly, and make sure that we're in the clear, because I don't want any weird panel gapping on this car, because it wasn't my fault. So it's the next day now. I drove my car a little bit more yesterday, and I did notice that the rubbing was getting a little bit worse. So we're gonna go ahead and situate that right now, jack up the rear of the car, and raise up that coilover just a tad bit, just so it stops rubbing. But we also have a lot more stuff to do with this car. So now that we have the car back, obviously there is a lot to do. We have our front lip already sitting inside the house. We have some downpipes on the way. This thing is gonna be getting a little bit faster. I was either gonna do a full exhaust or the downpipes, so we decided to do the downpipes. With that is gonna come a new tune, obviously. And to make that happen, we're also gonna have to send the ECU off to Finland so that we can get it unlocked. So this thing will be starting to get a lot faster here in the coming months. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, because I've never done or focused too much on performance modifications, and with this car I'm kind of going to do that. So really looking forward to it, and you guys will see those in the upcoming videos here shortly. Like I said, we're gonna start focusing on this car a lot more. We raised up the rear just a tad bit and taking the car out for a test drive just to see if it's still rubbing or not. As of right now, I'm not hearing anything, but we also haven't gotten on it yet. So it looks like raising it up didn't fix it completely, but it is a lot better, which is good. At least now I don't have to worry about rubbing through the tire or anything. But one thing for sure is that this car needs an alignment ASAP. Anytime I get on it, like if I get on it right now, the car wants to go in all different sorts of directions. Like it feels like it's pulling one way, then it pulls the other way, and it sucks. So we set up a schedule for GR Automotive this Friday. Today is Tuesday. So we should be able to head there by the end of this week, and they should be able to put on the alignment rack, and they'll also tell me if there's anything else wrong with the car. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And obviously if there is something wrong with the car, we'll take it back to Criswell Collision and get it addressed. Now in terms of the body gapping, I did call them already, and they said to bring the car back next week and they'll fix all the door gapping, trunk gapping, and so on. So hopefully we have the car looking 100% by the end of the month, and then we can get into all the mods that I mentioned earlier. So for right now, at least, I'm just happy that we have the car back, but it is what it is. Overall, just happy that I got my car back, and I'm sure that you guys are too, now that we'll kind of be focusing back on the G80 in terms of content. I know the last few weeks have just been E30 content, but I guess we'll call it here for today's video, since there's not much else that we can do. We'll pick up the camera again on Friday. I'll take you guys along with me, and hopefully we can get this car dialed back in. But appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.